St Clair station. Doors will open on the right.
Weet jullie tijdens het afvallen van niks uit de kast meer passen? Dan moet je dat en met hem bezig kwam nooit hoe het loopt. Dit is ook wat
Landward for finish.
Hey people, it is Saturday, November the 11th, which is Remembrance Day here in Canada. The time is currently 2:37 in the afternoon, and it is 3 degrees Celsius. I just got off the train here at St Clair Station on line 1. And I'm going to be heading up to street level to the Yonge and St Clair intersection, and then I'll be taking a walk west along St Clair Avenue. Let's take the stairs. I was thinking I would go as far west as Spadina Road and then make my way down to Casa Loma. I haven't done a daytime visit to Casa Loma in quite a while. I recently went there during a live stream, but that was after dark. We are. St. Clair Avenue, Yonge Street is just right up ahead. There's a look at the station. So this is part of Midtown Toronto. Downtown is about a half-hour walk down to the south. Get a look at the Yonge and Bloor intersection way down to the south with the tall building. That's one Bloor East. It's getting trickier to get out and record some videos before it starts to get dark. Before the time change, I would usually get around to heading out in the late afternoon. Now I have to make an effort to go out a bit earlier in the day because by 5 o'clock it is pretty much dark. And I intend to record another video after I'm finished this one, so by the time I'm finished that one, it will probably be starting to get dark. So this area is also referred to as Deer Park. It's a fairly upscale part of Midtown. Lots of expensive apartment buildings. and multi-million-dollar homes. And normally there is a streetcar running along St. Clair here, but it's out of service for the time being, and buses are currently running. That's the 512 St. Clair streetcar, and it has its own dedicated right-of-way, as you can see running down the center of St. Clair Avenue. So hopefully that will get up and running again as soon as possible. It's a mix of some nice older mid-rise apartment buildings and some more modern additions, and the area is continuing to develop with some ever taller condo towers which are beginning to transform the Yonge and St. Clair intersection. Trees are still partly hanging onto their leaves. They're looking more and more bare every day, though. I don't think it's really necessary to wait at this light here as a pedestrian. It's not like there's anything coming this way. You do get a bit of a view of the downtown skyline from here too. Some of the towers in the Yorkville neighborhood. When we get to Casa Loma, though, there will be a fantastic view of downtown. That's sort of my goal to end the video, with that awesome view. Here's another older apartment building. This is one that was once the home to Glenn Gould. Very famous pianist hailing from Toronto. Yeah, an appropriate piece of public art here, I would say, for Toronto these days. I suppose he's holding a very tall condo tower, although it might be an office tower. Let me know your interpretation of this. There's the Glenn Gould building. I think this is the Imperial... Let me try that again. The Imperial Oil building. An older office building in the area. Dating from 1957. So that's rather old for sure for this part of town. For a major office tower. Read the history And there's a cool view of downtown Toronto circa 1958. Nope. Let me pan down here. There we go. That's when the skyline looked more like present-day Buffalo. I don't think that focused quite right. More recent addition to the area. Very expensive, as I mentioned. Avenue Road is right up ahead. Oh. There's a nice mix of office and residential along this part of St. Clair. It does have a outlying business district look and feel to it. And yet kind of mature and urbane at the same time. Here's Avenue Road. Lots of Tony apartment buildings. And at the end of this, terminating the view, I should say, looking north, you can see the clock tower at Upper Canada College. It's a private boys' school. We're on the edge of the Forest Hill neighborhood. From this point on, it lies just to the north and west of here. It's one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the city. And I can only imagine what the rents are in this building, which is a recent addition to the neighborhood as well. New mid-rise nearing completion. And now you can see some of the older remaining homes. How massive they are. Many of these are obviously now no longer single-family homes, and these ones are actually awaiting demolition. As you can see, they're all boarded up. A new development will be replacing these old homes here. But this one was once upon a time quite an enormous mansion. I think it was subdivided into apartments as the years went on. This is an older apartment building, also slated for demolition, and you can see the building that will replace these old homes here. 15-story residential building, rather long, stretches quite a ways along the street. guess it'll be somewhat similar to the one across the street. Poplar Plains Road. That's a lovely street for walking or cycling. The street definitely loses something without the presence of the streetcars. Timothy Eaton. Trying to read the sign of this church. It's hiding behind trees. Timothy Eaton Memorial Church. Okay. Timothy Eaton was the man who founded the Eaton's department store chain, which was a Canada-wide chain of upscale department stores. It is long gone now, but the Eaton Centre in downtown Toronto is still bearing his name. It was once the home of a massive Eaton store of 1 million square feet or thereabouts. I think on 9 levels of retail shopping. An absolutely humongous store. And then after Eaton's closed down, it became a Sears. And then after Sears closed down, it became a Nordstrom. And then Nordstrom pulled out of Canada, so it is currently empty and subdivided up. Because obviously the Sears didn't take up as much space as the Eatons, and then the Nordstrom didn't take up as much space as the Sears. So who knows what will fill that space now. I'm hoping for a Simon's, which is another Canadian department store chain that doesn't have a downtown Toronto location as of right now. It's a Quebec-based chain. I think the only location in the Toronto area is at Square One Shopping Centre in Mississauga. We're passing by the southern end of Forest Hill now. I almost said Rosedale. Rosedale and Forest Hill are the two richest neighborhoods in central Toronto. get off the sidewalk and walk along the path here. We'll get a nice view of the skyline. I think this is Winston Churchill Park. Provides a nice open expanse looking south. But this skyline view won't be as good as the one we'll see at Casa Loma. There's the CN Tower. There's still lots of leaves on the trees, enough to block out a lot of the buildings. I came back here in another month, it would probably be better. The same can be said for the view from Casa Loma as well. There are a lot of trees around there too. But you can just make out the tallest downtown buildings popping above the trees. First Canadian Place, Scotia Plaza, the Aura, and the top of One Bloor East. Yeah, some happy looking dogs. I think this is the best angle. And here's Spadina Road, so we're going to make our way south now towards Casa Loma. Things get pretty bucolic as you head south into this neighborhood. I've always thought these were interesting buildings here. There's two of them. This twin is over in that direction. I think those are 1960s era towers. This is the Nordheimer Ravine we're about to pass over. This area lies on top of a escarpment that was created by the old prehistoric Lake Iroquois, which once occupied land as far north as Davenport Road. Basically a giant, prehistoric, much larger Lake Ontario. So as a result, Casa Loma and the surrounding neighborhood are perched up rather high, where you get an awesome view looking down on the rest of the city. Looking down into the ravine. I guess they can take down their Halloween-themed banners here. Casa Loma becomes a big haunted house for the Halloween season. Now they're going to have to get it all Christmasified. Some of this may not be Forest Hill, but the houses here are still extremely large. And this whole area is extremely wealthy. These are two homes side by side, and they share one big staircase with matching garages. Not sure if I like those garages being so prominent. This one looks like a semi-detached. Actually, I see several mailboxes. That's an apartment building. Looks like it has two apartments on the ground floor and two apartments on the second floor. This is just one big house. And I think that is too. A very modern mansion. Here's another new build. Quite the contrast to its neighbor. And an apartment building. So before we head straight to Casa Loma, I wanted to take a look at another magnificent structure over here, which almost rivals Casa Loma in my opinion. You can actually see the top of it sort of peeking through the trees over there. It's kind of interesting how even in a very upscale neighborhood there are a fair number of semi-detached houses and smaller apartment buildings mixed in among the mansions. You'll find the same thing in Rosedale and Forest Hill. These neighborhoods are fairly close in to the core of the city, so it's not exactly suburbia. Some of it might look rather suburban at first glance, though. So that's not the building I was talking about straight ahead. That's just a part of it. This is what I was referring to. It looks like a castle in its own right. These are the stables, or what were the stables. Another turret over there. What is this? The Murdoch Mysteries Escape Game. That's a TV show on the CBC network set in early 19th century, or early 20th century Toronto, I should say. It's been running for years and years, 10 or 15 years or more. And this building probably dates from the same time that the Murdoch Mystery Show is set in, as does Casa Loma. That is a fantastic building. But believe it or not, it's small compared to Casa Loma. There, I think you can see the actual stables over there. Some more apartment buildings here, Tudor style. I imagine this street and most of the area didn't look much different over 100 years ago than it does right now, other than some of those new builds we saw. There is Casa Loma. So this was a private home, believe it or not. Now it acts as a museum and tourist attraction. Lots of people checking it out. I see they started to put up the Christmas decorations here. You can see on the building exterior, the date 1911 is embossed on there. So I think the person who built this, or had it built for him, is a guy by the name of E.J. Lennox, who I think died in poverty, believe it or not. Or actually, wait a second, E.J. Lennox is the architect. I think Sir Henry Pellet is the man who had it built. Yeah, I believe that's right. I thought there was a handy plaque I could read all the details off of just around here somewhere, but I don't see it. So hopefully my memory is serving me well. Get another perspective here with one of the huge turrets on the rear side of the building. And now we're heading towards that skyline view. Yeah, I'm just double checking on my phone to see if my memory was right, and it seems it was. Sir Henry Pellet is the financier behind Casa Loma, and the resident, and E.J. Lennox, the architect. He designed a bunch of other notable buildings around the city also. And that guy is exactly where I want to be. I wanted to go there and get a shot. Here's the skyline view. So down there is Spadina Road, where it continues south, right down through Chinatown eventually, ending at Lake Ontario. And this large tree still has enough leaves on it to sort of block the view of the financial district. Maybe if I go down here, I can sort of get around the trees a bit. There, you can see a bit more of the financial district there. But yeah, that is the view. And these are the Baldwin steps heading down. But I think I'll save my descent down the steps for another video that I'll be starting as I continue on heading towards downtown. So I'm going to wrap this one up here as we look back at Casa Loma. So I hope you enjoyed the walk. We started at St Clair subway station. I got off the train, headed out to St Clair Avenue and headed west. Eventually making my way to Spadina Road and south here to Casa Loma and that awesome stables building that we also looked at. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And also be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. Or you can also support the channel through a super thanks if that's how you prefer to do it. And you can become a channel member as well. And you can find me on Instagram under KContinuum. And that guy's just hogging the view all for himself. But anyway, thanks for watching, and thanks to the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue. Alright, that guy finally moved, so I just came up here and tried to get that better view. That tree, though,